Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Gyaldem City podcast, hosted by myself, Yannicka, and Rose. If you're watching on Periscope, please switch over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and any comments you want, put them in, and we'll get to your questions or anything you say. First of all, obviously, we have Fulham today, but we're going to talk first about the Champions League. So how do you think the game went against Porto? Even though obviously it wasn't the best result.
I know. I thought it was a decent performance. We certainly went at our best, but we got the result that we needed, to finish top of the group. I mean, again, we weren't clinical. We missed a fair few chances, which on another day we probably would have scored. I think Torres missed like one in the first half, which I thought he could have probably scored that. And then Sterling missed two. I mean, one of them obviously was cleared off the line, but I feel like he should have scored that. I think that was in the second half. And then obviously Ruben Diaz, he missed that open goal. I mean, like he basically cleared it off the line. But I must say that was absolutely outstanding. I thought he had one of the best performances. He was really, really good. But yeah, like it was a decent result. But I must say, like, what actually happened in terms of like Gabby's goal, like, was it offside or was it not? I don't get VAR anymore. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, when I first saw it, I thought that's not offside because it didn't look offside. Because I knew he wasn't offside, which normally he is, but he actually wasn't that time. But then they went back quite a little bit because even the replay that they showed on the TV didn't show it. And then when they went back further, they were like, oh, it was Bernardo Silva that was offside. So I think it's just a bit confusing because it feels like sometimes they're taking it back quite a few kind of clips back to get to the decision, whereas other times, there's been a few times in the past where we've been fouled at one end of the pitch, and the other team has run with the ball, passed it to someone else, and they put it in the net, and they've not ruled that out because they've said, oh, it was a new passage of play. So I think if they're going to take it back, it needs to be by the same amount of sort of clips, because I think sometimes it seems like it's a bit far. That to me felt a bit extreme, like how far they went back. I think the whistle should have been blown before, the flag should have been up before, and if they miss it, then they miss it. I don't think it should be a case of them kind of bringing it back and saying, oh, we're going to rule it out. I think in terms of the game, I expected us to obviously go there and try and win, which I think we did try. I can't believe Diaz was defending at both ends. Like, I don't understand how that didn't go in. I think if he'd have sneezed, it would have gone in. But yeah, I don't know. But overall, we got what we needed to get through with the group. So I don't think it really matters too much. It's just, I think after the game, some of Porto's comments and stuff, I wish we beat them, because like the way they were going on afterwards, I thought, because they were saying like, that City are cheats and stuff, but I was thinking, well, we got a goal ruled out. Do you know what I mean? So there was that penalty kind of decision that could have gone their way, but it was like 50-50 with the keeper. So I don't think it's a clear pen. I can understand if it was given, why it was given, but I don't think it was a Stonewall pen to me. So yeah, I don't quite get that. I think they got luckier than us, put it that way, in that game. So, but yeah, at least we're qualified. Obviously, we're top, which makes our next opponent probably easier. But yeah, do you think out of the teams that are kind of on the cusp of maybe going out, do you think Madrid will go out, or do you think they'll stay in? And I think PSG is the other one that cannot qualify, I think.
Who do Madrid have next? Is it Borussia? I'm trying to think who's in their group again.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Real Madrid will still qualify. I don't know. I feel like used to like being in the Champions League. I can just see them pulling out a performance. You know, I think there's is it one more game left to go? Have we played?
Yeah,
I think we played.
yeah.
I think one more game to go. I can just see them pulling it out of the bag. Yeah. What do you think?
I think they will as well. It'd be funny to see them in the Europa, but I do think they'll get through. They're Madrid, aren't they? They turn up on the day, so it will. As much as it would be nice to see them and PSG, to be honest. I don't like Man United, so I want Man United to go out of that group. But it would be funny to see PSG in the Europa League. So yeah, I think PSG will go through as well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be United and PSG that go through. I think it will in that group. And I think Madrid and probably Shakhtar. I don't know I think Inter Milan is the one in that group, isn't it? I don't know whether Inter Milan, they seem to concede quite a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I'm not sure. Had Borussia.
Yeah.
But they were very, very in that game. Like they were very, very lucky.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I think Real Madrid and Shakhtar Donetsk will probably go through. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think. Moving on, I just wanted to quickly touch on Pep's new contract. How do you feel about it? Are you happy? Do you think it's the right decision? Or do you feel differently about it?
Like, to me, I think obviously Pep's like the best manager in the world. So, I mean, even the fact that we have him, I'm still like, wow, we have Pep. Like, come on. And I know that he gets a lot of criticism, you know, like, oh, his tactics, you know, he should change it sometimes. And, you know, sometimes it's not working. But I still think he's the best. And I know that he can change it. Like, if he wanted to change, let's say, tactic and whatnot, he's the best man, you know, to obviously do it, because it's like his tactics in it. He knows what's going to work for City as well. So yeah, like I think he's just the best manager for the job. Like, who's actually out there who is going to like be better than him, especially for Manchester City? Like, the owners, you see how they speak about him, they absolutely adore him. I think I was reading something, I mean, on the Manchester City website, I think it was Ferran Torres who said that, you know, Pep is probably the best, you know, manager in the world, and that he gets the best out of him. And I know that a lot of players have just said so much about him as well. So I just feel like, why would we need anyone else? Like, you've seen him, he's got us 100 points, in my opinion. I think that season was absolutely amazing. I mean, even in a season where Liverpool were absolutely outstanding, I think we got like, was it 98 points? We still won the league. Do you know what I mean? And like, obviously, I think Klopp is obviously really, really good as well. And he's probably like, you know, I think him and Pep are the best. But apart from those two, who else is better than them? Like, come on. What do you think?
That's how I feel, because you get people saying like you get people saying things like he's overrated. The thing is with Pep is the reason why Pep is rated so highly is because he was a young manager. He was one of the youngest ones in the game at the time. He came in, I think he won 6 trophies in his first or second season with Barcelona. So, you know, if any new manager came in now and won, you know, say Lampard went and won Chelsea 6 trophies next season or this season, you know, you'd be saying, wow, Lampard's such a good manager. So he's not been given the credit undeservedly. Like, he's actually earned the right to be in that conversation with the GOAT managers. Do you know what I mean? And then he went, even more so, he went and played an Alex Ferguson's Man United, who at the time were a brilliant side, and beat them, I think, twice in finals. So he's there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? And I think, I don't know whether it's because he manages City or I don't know what it is, but it seems to be he gets a lot of disrespect. And I always say the Champions League is not an easy thing to win. Like, obviously, yes, the best team should be winning it, but that's not always the case. Do you know what I mean? In Spain, Real Madrid haven't been the best side in Spain, but they've been winning the Champions League consistently. So, you know, same with Liverpool. When Liverpool won it in 2005, they weren't the best Premier League side, you know, and the same with Chelsea. When they won it, that's probably one of Chelsea's worst seasons in terms of the Prem, but then they went and won the Champions League. So I think it takes, obviously, a belief in yourselves, which I don't think City have had up until maybe this season. Last season, they were kind of like, yeah, I think we can do it, but they didn't get over the line. But yeah, I think they've just about now started to believe in themselves that they can win it. So hopefully, you know, we can get over the line, maybe get past the quarters, and then I think if we get to a final with Pep, I have belief that we can win it, because a lot of teams, they get to the final and lose before they win. But I think with Pep's not a loser, so I can't see him going to a final and losing it. But you never know. You know, some teams do lose before they win. So yeah, I want it to get to a final. I kind of, as much as I want them to win it, I want to be there when they win it. I don't want a sort of stadium with 2,000 fans when we're winning the Champions League. Like, it needs to be a full stadium, and I need to be there. So yeah, it's selfishly, I kind of want them to wait till I'm there to win it. But at the same time, it'd be nice for Fernandinho and Aguero to win it. So yeah, I'd take it this season if we can win it. But yeah, I would like to be there. But I think just in general, I think Pep's just, for me, I've always admired Pep. Like, when he was at Bayern Munich, I used to watch Bayern Munich, and you'd just see him, and I was just like, oh, when I found out he was coming to City, I was like, because I just remember Man United fans going, when we get Pep, after Fergie, when we get Pep. And now it's like, oh, Pep's overrated, he's not that good. And I thought, if he went to Man United, they'd be saying, look what he's won, look at his age, look how many trophies he's won. And they would be saying he's better than Klopp. That's what they would be saying, because they'd be saying, if you look at what he's won, when he's won it, he hasn't lost as many finals as Klopp. He's not been relegated. So as much as I do rate Klopp, I think if he managed a different team, I feel like they would be saying different things about Pep. So yeah, I'm happy that he's staying. Everyone says that he improves them. We've seen it with our own eyes. I didn't think Aguero could get better. He did. Sterling's got better and better. Ferran Torres has come in like a like a bull in a china shop. He just looks up for it. So yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm hoping he stays longer. I'm hoping he's like a long-term manager for us. He did say yesterday, I think it was, that he's played 700 matches and he wants to play 700 more, and then he's going to retire. So I don't know if that's going to be at City or not, but yeah, it'd be nice to see him stay.
Yeah.
But yeah, where do you think that City are going to finish in the league? I know you did say before that we might finish top 4 or just outside it. So what are you thinking now?
I don't know. That Burnley match has kind of changed my mindset a little bit. I know Burnley have been awful this season, and you know they were the cause of a lot of their problems in that match. But that was the City side that, like, I miss watching. Like, just the fact that we were just so clinical. I mean, in the past, like, City have conceded goals. Like, even with Company, we have conceded like a few goals, but we've always had like that clinical side of us where we can outscore teams. We can, you know, turn a game on its head regardless of conceding goals. And I just thought like that performance was like the old City, whereby we can score loads of goals, like we can. And I know that it's in this City side, like we can do it. So I'm just hoping that they kick off, like, you know, from where we left against Burnley. I know that we weren't that great against Porto. But in the Premier League, if we can, you know, carry on how we did against Burnley, that would be absolutely perfect. But I don't know. I think before I said we'll finish like maybe I think 3rd or 4th. I thought that, you know, Spurs, Everton, and Chelsea would finish above us. But now I'm looking at Everton a little bit. I feel like they're not going to finish. Or I don't know. Like, do you know, if the league is so weird, like it just changes all the time. So yeah. I think we'll probably finish. I know that Liverpool, in my opinion, will probably still win the league. Obviously, they've got more injuries now, but for some reason they are still doing what is required, you know, to win those games. But I think now we could probably, you know, I feel like we will probably finish, you know, 2nd, maybe 2nd, 3rd. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard. Like, I mean, like I said before, we were so good against Burnley, but then, you know, you saw us against Porto. It's just, I just want City to be consistent, because if we have a game in hand as well. Like, if we are consistent from now on, we could obviously challenge, you know, for that league. But it's just a City side up in all these matches. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think with what I've always said about City is, if we get a run of wins together, I think we'll just take off from there. And I think we should be challenging for the title. Do you know what I mean? Especially with Liverpool's injuries. Like, maybe if they didn't have any, you could argue, you know, they're up for it again. But I think we should definitely be challenging. I think realistically we should be winning it. You know, I think Chelsea look good this season. Spurs look good this season. Liverpool still look good this season. I think we've been a bit inconsistent, like you say. Some weeks were great, like Burnley, and then other weeks not so good. So I think we just need to be more clinical, I think, because I've said all season that I don't think our performances are as bad as people are making out. Like, people were saying our City, you know, they're really bad. And I'm thinking, but actually, we weren't that bad. Even against Spurs, like, the chances that we had, do you know what I mean? Same against Liverpool, like, in that, towards the end of that game was there for the taking. Do you know what I mean? Even Liverpool fans are saying, you know, we were there to be, you know, taken advantage of, and we didn't do that. So I think if we can be more clinical, hopefully now Mahrez has got more confidence, because I think before he hadn't scored in a while. So I think he was kind of, he might have scored, but he wasn't on a good form. So yeah, I think if he can get a run of, because I think he's our top scorer now in the Prem, Mahrez. Because I think everyone else was on like 2 before. So yeah, so hopefully he sees it as, oh, I need to get more goals. Pep will play him, I think, because Pep's already said. So yeah, it'd be nice to see everyone kind of, and it's interesting because I think the minute everyone became fit, everyone's level stepped up, because people know now there's competition. So it's nice to see, you know, people like Mendy stepping up a level, you know. So hopefully we can get some good form going, and hopefully we can win the league, because I think over a season, they do say, and I always say this, defenses win your leagues. And I think we have a solid defense now, which we didn't have last season. So yeah, I think we need to be at least challenging. The only thing that I think with City, which is interesting, is they tend to focus on one thing at a time. It's like, even in Pep's press conference yesterday, he was saying, no, we're focused on Fulham now. You know, when they were asking him about Porto, and it's almost like we were focused on the Champions League, and then when we knew we were kind of through, then we kind of returned to our own selves in the Prem, and then we went away to Porto, and it was kind of like, well, we're through now, so we don't need to try as hard. So I don't know. We'll see what happens today against Fulham. But I think anything less than a title race would be a poor season, considering what's going on around us. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the other teams. We can go on now to Fulham. What do you expect from today's game?
Do you know what? Like, a few weeks ago, I would have thought that it would be like the Burnley game, where we just score loads of goals, because Fulham have been poor defensively. But I think that win against Leicester will probably give them a lot of confidence, and I expect us to win. But I feel like they're going to score. I feel like they have such a good attacking threat. Like, they do concede, but they are good going forward. They can score goals. So I don't know how it's going to go. I said it all depends on the City side that turns up. But as we're at home, like I said, I do expect us, to get a win, but I do expect it as well. What do you think?
Yeah. I think they will score also. Maybe Lookman, because he seems to be on a bit of good form at the moment, and he's a good player. So maybe him. Or knowing City, probably some random defender that never scores. But I think they will score. But I think we are better than them. And I think after the Burnley game, I feel like the players might be on a little bit of a high. They're through in Europe, you know, they've not got any sort of thing to distract them. So hopefully we can win. I think if we do win, I don't think it'll be as close as I've predicted recently, because I've been saying like 1-0. I think if we do win, it will be something like 3-1 or 4-1 maybe. But yeah, it just depends on whether we're clinical. And the other day we were actually clinical for once. I think we had about, I don't know how many shots we had overall, but I think when we'd scored the first 2 goals, I think we'd had 3 shots and 2 goals, which is rare for City. So yeah, hopefully we continue to be clinical, and then I think it'll be a bit of a better result for us. And then if we go on a run of wins, like I say, we're in contention then, because right now, you know, people were laughing saying, oh, we're 13th or whatever we were. I think now we're 10th, 11th, I'm not sure. So yeah, I think if we win, then we go up into 4th place, I think, on the same games played. So we're not too far off where we kind of need to be. But I think definitely games like Fulham, if we're not winning them, we're not going to win the league, because they're the games that, especially at home, you need to be winning. So we'll see. If anyone's got any questions, drop them in the chat. If you're on Periscope, if you're on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, subscribe and like the video. Just get to some of the comments before we move on. Flawless says, hit the like button, people. So yeah, if you're in here, hit the like button. And big up you too. Oh, big up to you too. Thames Baller says, Premier League is exciting as hell this weekend. Yeah, it should be a good weekend. We'll touch on the North London derby in a minute. Just with our predictions for that. Abdullah says, I hope we go on a run and maybe win the league. We have a good run of winnable games. The tricky game is the Manchester derby against United, sorry. I agree with that. I don't know what it is about Ollie. We could beat City, so yeah, not looking forward to that. Hi, Kamasola. Good morning to you. Abdallah says, long term, Jesus should play on the wings. A lot of people have been saying that, actually. Because I don't know I think he plays like on the wings for Brazil. I don't really watch Brazil, but I think Firmino kind of plays in the middle, and if they play together, he kind of plays on the wing. He does look good there. What I like about Gabby is he can keep the ball up and he creates space for everyone else. You know, a lot of people are saying, can he replace Aguero? No, he's a different player to Aguero, but he has different qualities that Aguero doesn't have. You know, Aguero's more, you put a through ball to him and he'll run and score you a goal. Gabs is not as good at that, simply because he tends to be offside. So it's not that he can't do it, but he's not as good at, you know, with Aguero, he will be onside. He will make sure that he's onside. Whereas Gab seems to drift kind of offside, and then next minute the goal's ruled out. So he can do it, but I think he plays better when it's more maybe like a ball over the top, and he can hold it up or whatever, or create space for someone else. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we will play him on the wings, but could be a shout maybe. Everyone in the defense is looking strong. I agree. I even think Edison is looking really good this season. Obviously, he's had a few games where he's not been that great, but he was really good against, was it Burnley? I think it was Burnley where he was really good. John Stones was also excellent in that game. He's looked really good since he's come back. But what do you think, Rose?
I wanted to obviously mention Stones, like, bless him. Even with the fact that there was like a chance where he probably wouldn't play much games this season, he still still stayed here, and I feel like he's one of them players that have improved, you know. And I just feel like that performance against Burnley, he was very, very good. Like, he's been so good, like, since he came back. Obviously, I was a bit surprised Pep didn't play him against Porto, but then obviously when I was speaking to a couple City fans, they were like, maybe Pep's just, you know, resting him. He doesn't want him to get injured or whatnot. But yeah, I must say, like, he's been really, really good, and I'm really happy for him. Yeah, so I think he's been good. Obviously, Ruben Diaz has obviously just been solid. Like, I'm so happy that we got him in. I can't believe I didn't know. I'm who he was before, but my gosh, like, he is brilliant. And I don't know, Pep didn't play Laporte. Was it against Burnley? And did Laporte play against Porto? I don't think Laporte did. Do you think maybe Laporte is a bit out of favour?
No, I don't think he's played for three. I think this is 3 games now he's not played for.
What do you think? I don't know why that is.
I don't know. Pep said that it's not an issue between them. He's just said if they're playing well, they should keep them, which I kind of agree, because I think, especially with the likes of Mendy, players like that, they need a run of games to kind of get into the best form. And I think if you bring Stones in and then drop him, you don't know whether he's going to maintain the form. So I think he will start today, because I think he's going to try and keep it consistent. Obviously, that Porto game, you can't risk injuries on a game where you only need a point, you know. So I think he wasn't going to risk him there. But I think he will start today, and I think he should keep him there while he's looking good. I do love Laporte. He's been solid for us. But it could be a case of, you know, he plays Stones for half the game and then plays Laporte. Like, I don't even mind that. I just think when Stones is in good form, we should keep it. I'm actually surprised that he stayed, because I was saying at the start of the season that I didn't actually think John Stones was good enough for City, because the past couple of seasons since he got that injury, he's not looked up to it. But I think what I've always said is, when we had Company, because he was so solid, anyone that was next to him looked half decent. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why when Company got injured and we kind of were left with Otamendi and Stones, or Otamendi and Demichelis, or whoever it was at the time, they just looked significantly worse because Company wasn't there. So I think Diaz is the new Company in that he's solid, and I think everyone around him kind of gets that vibe. I think I said this about Liverpool last season, because Van Dijk is so good, whoever is paired next to him looks half decent, you know. So yeah, I think it's the same with Diaz, and I think that's why he won't be dropped, because he seems to be the leader. As much as I do love Laporte, he's not got that kind of leading vibe. So yeah, I think Diaz will probably end up our captain in the future. He's only 23. He looks solid. You know, they tend to give it defenders a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm very happy with our defence, which is the big worry, because last season I was saying our defence is rubbish. We need to get Koulibaly. You know, we've got Diaz, who's younger and looks brilliant. So yeah, happy with that. Abdella also says, oh, this is slow today. I don't see Fulham scoring. Our defence is too strong for them. And he says our defence is better than Leicester's defence. It will be 2-0 or 3-0. It could be. I think as good as our defence is, we still... Actually, to be fair, we kept quite a few clean sheets, so maybe we won't concede. I just think with City, there's always, because of the way we play, there's always a risk of a counter-attack. And if it's one-on-one with Ederson, you know, because he comes far off his line, I think there's always a risk. Champions League's a little bit different because they play differently, but I think there's always a risk. It kind of depends how the game goes. If we get 2 early goals, they won't score, because it'll just be us. And they will be trying to not concede too many. So it will go into a game of just try and stop City scoring, which means we'll probably get, you know, probably more goals. So yeah, I think it will depend on how the game goes. If we don't score sort of in the first half, they will think we're still in the game and they'll probably go for it. And it's whether they can counter us while we're trying to score, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. Cavasola says, people can laugh all they want. Season ends in May and we have a game in hand. I agree with that. I always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, I think people have ruled out City too early. And I'm not saying we're going to win it because I don't know that. But I just think to rule out a City side that have been and done it so many times, you know, it's like ruling Liverpool out of the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? They've proven they can win that. Real Madrid, the same. You know, I'd love to say, haha, they're in Europa. But I've seen them win it so many times that I can't say they've got no chance, because they have a chance, you know. As bad as they've been, they still have a chance. So, yeah, Abdella also says, oh, sorry, my computer's moving slow. Says we have a game in hand. Yeah. Like I say, people have kind of just ruled us out. Oh, we're whatever we are in the league, 13th, 14th, 10th. But yeah, it's not. If everyone plays the same games, it's not as realistic. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's a long season. Why Not Sentiment says yes, flawless. Big up, flawless. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. Like the video. I agree. Jesus in the wings is a great option. Yeah, I don't know if Pep will play him there, but it'd be worth, you know, the way we switch up so much, it would actually be worth trying it. Maybe in a game that is there's less pressure on us to win. Maybe like, you know, really should have tried something like that against Porto. But I think obviously with Aguero being out, he can't really do that. So maybe when Aguero comes back, he might. You never know with Pep. You don't know what formation he's going to play, so he might try it one day. Abdella says, Gundogan and Rodri are too similar. They can't play together. It will be slow in the midfield. What do you think about that, Rose?
You know what? I agree, but it's weird because in the Champions League, it works. I don't know what it is in the Champions League and obviously in the Premier League, I don't know. But it works. But in the Prem, it just doesn't work. And I feel like Fernandinho playing with one of them is a better option. That's what I think personally. What do you think?
Oh, well, I love Fernandinho, so I'm always going to want to see Fernandinho. I think, you know what? People say Rodri's a bit slow. I feel like he is a little bit slow sometimes. You know, you're watching the game and you're like, run. And he's just like, looks like he's jogging. He does seem a little bit slow. But he's actually got some good stats. I was seeing the other day, he's like second for a lot of stuff in the league. So he's not doing too badly. I think he'll need a bit longer to adapt than maybe other players. I think he's a decent player. He kind of fits into our system in a lot of ways. So hopefully he'll kind of just get better and better. I don't think he's that old, Rodri, is he? I think he's only like mid-20s. So yeah, I think hopefully he can get in. Gundogan, something about the Champions League. Every time he started for us in most of our Champions League games, I'm sure I might be wrong, but the only game that he didn't start was the Lyon game and the Porto game. I'm not sure about the Lyon. I don't know if he started or not, but seems to be when he plays in the Champions League, we win. So yeah, I think he's different in the league than he is in the Champions League. But I like Gundogan. I'd rather see Fernandinho, but I do like him. I'm not one of these people that's like going to slate him or anything like that. I just think them two together, it's a little bit slow. So I do agree with what you're saying. It is a bit slow. And I think with the pace of the Premier League, especially when you're playing against people like Liverpool, you need a Fernandinho who at least might not even be the fastest himself, but at least he will take someone out if he has to. Whereas Gundogan and Rodri, the bit nicey, it kind of needs somebody like a De Jong or Fernandinho when he's fit. So yeah, Ibrahim says, who should be our two starting wingers? I think Torres and Sterling. What do you think, Rose?
Yeah, Torres certainly. Sterling. I love Sterling so much. I love him so much. But this season, he's been a bit hot and cold. I don't know what's happened to him. And he's just not really the consistent Sterling that we know that he can be. It's tough. Like I said, you know, how Mahrez wasn't playing well and, you know, he got so much criticism. And then obviously against Burnley, he goes and does that. I'm just hoping that Sterling one of those games where he just goes and does what Mahrez did. But still, I would still go with Torres and Sterling. Yeah, I agree with Ibrahim. I would still go with them two. But I just want Sterling to just have a really good game. Like, I really do want him to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. Definitely Torres. Torres looks amazing. I love him already. I didn't really know him before, but yeah, I love Torres. So definitely him. I think he plays really well with Foden. They seem to link up really well together. So even them two. I think Sterling is out of form. It's amazing, really, because Sterling misses so many chances, but he's still statistically one of the best. So it's really, imagine how good he could be if he was more clinical. Like, it's crazy, you know. So I don't think Sterling has reached his peak yet. I think I don't know when he'll hit it, but I just feel like he might just become super clinical. Who knows? But yeah, I think Sterling creates so many chances, you know, even though he misses a lot, he creates so many. So I think Sterling has to start, really. And I think that's why Pep kind of starts him all the time. But based on current form, he has to really start Mahrez. He can't score a hat-trick and then you drop him. So I think he might start Torres and Mahrez or Sterling and Mahrez. But yeah, I think I like the fact that we've got options. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, like we used to have Sane and Sterling. Now it's kind of like Torres and Foden. It's quite exciting when they play together. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think he will play. I think he will play Mahrez and Sterling today. But Pep seems to be on one this season, which I quite like. It's like ruthless Pep. Yeah. And he's kind of saying, somebody asked him, is Sterling asked to start? And he was like, everyone's asked to start. Everyone wants to play. So I don't know whether he will play Sterling because he will probably think, I don't know. I just feel like this season he's kind of like, I don't care what people think. I'm playing who I want to play. He was struggling to drop Mahrez in the beginning anyway, even when he wasn't playing well. So it'll be interesting to see if he drops him now after scoring a hat-trick. I don't know. He has said who's playing well will start. So if that's the case, then it should be Torres and Mahrez, but who knows? Abdullah says Stones is unfinished project for Pep, so you won't want to sell him. Yeah, I think we both agree with that. He does love Stones, Pep, so I can't see that. Laporte is out of form. Yeah, I think the last game that Laporte played, he didn't play very well, and everyone was kind of getting onto him. But he has been solid for us, so I can't really slate him too much. I think he played a lot of games. Obviously, he was unfit last season. He's come back. He's played quite a lot of games since he's come back. So I think maybe a bit of rest will do him some good. I think competition helps players. Mm-hmm. He knows if he comes in and he underperforms, he's out because you've got Diaz, obviously, who will start, and you've got Stones, who's on good form, and then you've got Aki, who's now back from injury. So if he does come in today, he knows he has to perform at a good level to stay in the squad. So it's good. I think the competition is always good. It'd be nice if everyone can kind of stay fit for a bit and we can get our run of games. Why Not Sentiment says, hi, Rose. Good to see you're back. Peng as ever. Your hair looks great.
Oh, thanks.
Gangster Crit says, big up the Gyaldem. Hi, Gangster Crit. Oh, my gosh. This computer's really slow. Sorry. We just got to keep switched on, though. Yeah, I think It's interesting because we kind of switch off when we go 1-0 down. You know, if they score, it seems to be like we don't know what to do, and it's like we panic, and then they score 2, and then it's game over. It's really interesting because even against Spurs, like 1-0 is not a big deal. You can always score a goal, but it just didn't look like we'd kind of given up, conceded that we were going to lose. I don't like that, but hopefully, you know, we've got one of the hardest games out of the way. Spurs away is never easy. We don't tend to win there at the best of the time, so hopefully it's just we can beat them at the Etihad. Gangster Crypt says 5-0 to City. You never know. Fulham have been worse than Burnley, but there's something about City and Burnley where we just tend to beat them 5-0. So whereas Fulham, our results in the past have been a lot closer with Fulham. So we'll see. Why Not Sentiment says, hi, Jan.
No.
Gorgeous as ever. Thank you. Gangster Crit says, facts, sorry. I'm just like clicking on them. I can't really see what it's saying. Camasola says, watch Pep's FC Barcelona to understand why he plays Rodri and Gundo. It's like Busquets and Iniesta. True. Okay. They didn't have a lot of speed, did they? Well, Iniesta was more like a David Silva, but Busquets is that kind of player. He does tend to like that kind of player, Pep. So I do like Rodri. I just think sometimes when there's a fast counter come in, he is a little bit slow. And I think if he is going to be slow, it's almost like he needs to kind of maybe take the player out like Fernandinho does. You know, if you're not going to get there, take him out. If it's a free kick in the middle of the pitch, what's the big deal? Do you know what I mean? You might get a yellow. It's not a big deal. But I think he's too nicey. So we'll see. Neeks says, I need a Sterling hat trick, ladies.
I would be happy.
Good luck with that. No, I think he needs it. He does need it, but I don't know. Maybe because it's Fulham. He used to play for QPR. Who knows? He might be up for it. Kamasola says, not quick, but all about control. Yeah, I agree with that. Rodri, like I say, Rodri is actually good statistically. It's just because I think with the squad that we have, we want to play quick football. But the way it kind of is, because the midfield's a bit slow, when it's going right, it's fine. When it's going wrong, it's kind of like, it feels like there's no urgency to get forward. And I think that's the issue with him. I don't know how you feel, Rose, but I think that's why people are so onto him for being slow, because it doesn't really happen when we're winning games 5-0. People don't really mention it. Mm-hmm. So. But I think, do you know what I do think? Oh, 1 minute. So sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry, because I'm at work, it's really difficult. But yeah, I think with Fernandinho, he looks better. So I think that's why we get the most out of him when he's next to Fernandinho, as opposed to Gundogan, who is also a little bit slow. I don't know whether, like you say, it works in Europe, but I don't think it works in the Prem. Big up AV8. Happy birthday for yesterday. Gangster Crip says, what happened to Bernardo this season? I don't know. Bernardo kind of goes up and down, but I think it's about run of games. I don't think he gets to run of games. So I don't know what you think, Rose.
I think
that's just what I think.
I'm trying to think, what was the last game that he played in that was in the Prem? Was it the Burnley? I don't know if it was the Burnley match. What match was it?
I think he did play.
I thought
Do you know what? I can't remember. I know he played against Porto, and he played quite well against Porto. I think.
I don't think he's been bad as of recent, but I can't. You know what? He doesn't really play, and I agree. I think that's probably why we haven't really seen him, have a run. I feel like he's the type of person that when you give him a run of games, like he just grows and grows and like he gets better. But yeah, he hasn't really had the opportunity. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on there.
Yeah, I think somebody was saying like when obviously we need kind of another option for De Bruyne because I feel City are very predictable. It's kind of like pass it to De Bruyne. If you stop De Bruyne, you stop City at the moment because there's no real connection between the back four and the attackers. Obviously, Fernandinho provides stability in the midfield and he can also make some passes forward. So he helps us and, it makes it a bit better. I think it gives Bernardo a little bit more space he is playing, gives De Bruyne a little bit more space. But yeah, I think Bernardo hasn't really. He had that great season where he ran the show when De Bruyne was out. Actually, when De Bruyne was injured, he had that great season. But now, I don't know. I think he's a decent player, but I just think he needs a run of games. And obviously, with the squad that we have, he's not getting that. So we'll see how he goes over the season. But I think there's going to be a lot of games to play. There's going to be a lot of rotation. Pep's already said that we're going to rotate. So I think we'll see him a lot more. And then hopefully his form will get better and better. Jay Fresh says, Jesus gives us so much in so much different ways. I agree with that. I think on paper, it looks like, well, on paper it actually looks good for him. But I think when people look at him, they think, oh, he misses loads of chances. He's not Aguero. He's not this. He's not that. But like I said before, he gives something different to our team, and it's what we need sometimes. Take a bit of pressure off the strikers and the other attacking players, and I think he does that excellently. Obviously, he holds the ball up well. If we're winning 1-0, I want to see him on the pitch because I know he can put it up in the corner, or just I don't know. He's just good at keeping the ball up. Neeks says City will only win the league if Sterling is firing, so he must get back on form for Pep's sake. Have to agree with that. He's won us the league a few times, Raheem, with his important goals. Thing is with Sterling is when he's on the pitch, no matter how good or bad he's playing, he's always going to create chances and, get into sort of one-on-ones with the keeper. And yes, he misses some, but that's what you need. If you're struggling to break down the defences, which City are a lot of times, we need someone that can do that. I think Torres looks good, and I feel like he can almost be there for Sterling to pass it to. If he's in a one-on-one and he looks like he's not going to score, at least he can maybe pass it back. I don't know. I just think with Sterling, he's quality, and I think he will get back on form. He's not started the best, but played a lot of games, probably a bit tired. So hopefully we'll see a better Sterling as the season goes on. Does anyone rate Stones? How old is Stones? I'm not sure how old Stones is. He's younger than me. Like 26, 27? Is he that old? I don't think he's that old. Let me check. I'm going to check. John Stones is 26.
Oh, he's been about.
So he's quite young. Yeah. He's quite young for a centre back, really. They tend to peak later than that. So we'll see. Gangster Crit says City better start going on a winning run. I'm not trying to see Liverpool or Jose win the league. Yeah, me neither. I don't like Spurs almost as much as I don't like United. Yeah, if anyone's got to win it and it's not us, First choice would be Everton. Second choice would be Chelsea. Yeah, it just cut. Yeah, no. And then way down the list, Spurs. And then United. But yeah, Anna says Rodri is not all that, in my opinion. He's a salsa. Huddleston. You people are mean.
Wow.
I think Rodri's
not that bad.
Yeah, he's not that bad. I think when you're playing badly, some of our players just tend to get scapegoated. Rodri seems to be one of them. It's either Rodri, Gundogan, or depending on who plays, maybe Mendy. Sometimes a lot of the time Mahrez. Sometimes Sterling.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only person that really gets away with a terrible performance is De Bruyne. I think I've even seen Aguero get slated. So yeah, probably De Bruyne is the only one that doesn't really get stick from many people. But it's bad. Comasola says, if the front three were putting away chances, the slow midfield won't be a problem. I agree with that. That's when it becomes apparent. Like when we're playing well and we're winning, no one really cares. And I think that's why almost like it works better in Europe. We tend to win in Europe. You know, it works well. Same thing with Barcelona under Pep with Messi, Pedro. Yeah. Rodri uses the ball well, strong in the air, and doesn't lose the ball. I agree. I think he's just a solid player. I just think the Premier League pace is a little bit faster. That's why he tends to work better in Europe. How rude. Why not? Yeah, I think, you know what? I don't think Rodri's that bad. I'm ignoring that. Camasola says Sterling will be back, not too concerned. Yeah, he will be back. I think it's just one of them things. I think the whole team are kind of off form. Well, they have been off form. So I think once it clicks again, we should be back to our best. It seemed to sort of click against Burnley. Obviously, we didn't do too well against Porto. We still created chances. We were still the better team, but just the clinicalness wasn't there. Nice office. I hate this place. This is my 6th day in a row in this place. It's the last place I want to be right now. Why Not says, Rodri is the little happy shopper version. Salsa means he's got a little bit about him. Don't be tight to my Rodri. Team Rodri. I hope he plays well today. You're just jinxing him. If he plays badly today, it's on you lot. Gangster Crip says, Jan, how come you hate Spurs so much? Do you know what? I just don't like Spurs. When I was a kid, like they've always been a bogey team for City, and I just don't like them. And also, I don't like the way if I feel like sorry, I think my thing went. But yeah, I think he came from another planet and someone said, which Premier Leagues belong to which club? You would put your life on the fact that it was Spurs that have won 4 in the last 10 years over City, because the way their fans talk, it's like they win consistently. And don't get me wrong, there are some decent people like Maya. They got Maya. You know, she's level-headed. She says it how it is. But there are some people like that I've known in the past where it's like, it's almost like I'd be thinking, but, you know, they'd be talking about City and I'd be thinking, but we just won something last year. Like, it's not that. I don't know. I think I get why Arsenal fans get a bit frustrated. You know what I mean? I would have to probably a lot of Arsenal fans have said this, and I kind of agree with it. I would probably have to see them nearly win the title before I think, yeah, they're going to go and win the title, because they might do a Leicester. They might kind of come from nowhere and go and win it. But they haven't proven to me that they can do it yet. And when they have got to anywhere near, you know, a Champions League final, for me, you should be up for that. And I didn't want Spurs to win it because I didn't want Spurs to win it before us. Mm-hmm. But I just thought, you need to turn up for that game. It's a final. It's 90 minutes. They could have beat Liverpool in that game. Liverpool weren't great, you know, and they just bottled it as far as I'm concerned because they didn't even turn up. You knew from the second that game kicked off, it was Liverpool's. And Liverpool didn't even have to play that well to win, and it was a comfortable win. So yeah, I didn't like that. You know, people blame Poch, but I think that team have been known over the years to bottle things. I've seen them 2-0 up at Man United, looking comfortable, and then Man United beat them I think it was 3-0 or something, and they beat them 5-3 or 5-2 when they were 2-0 up. I don't know. They would have to prove to me that they can do it. Obviously, I don't want to see them do it. Mourinho is a winner. Mourinho wins things. I do think he'll win a trophy for Spurs. I honestly believe, unless Real Madrid go down and PSG go down, I think they'll win the Europa League because Spurs are a cup club. They've always been good at winning cups. Obviously, not so much in recent years, but the history of Spurs will tell you they're all right in Europe, and you know they tend to do well in cups. You know, they've beaten City in quite a few finals. That's why I don't like them. If you look at the history between City and Spurs, it's not good. It tends to be United fans that like Spurs, and City fans prefer Arsenal. That's the way that I've always known it. So yeah, we'll see. Kamasola says Spurs are shite, constant underachievers. Yeah, I think. Do you know what the worst thing for me was them finishing third in a 2-horse race? Like, yeah, it was a 2-horse race. It was Spurs or Leicester, and then Arsenal finished above them. And it's not even the fact that someone else finished above them. Arsenal finished above them. Like, that's like us being in a 2-horse race with Liverpool this season, and then Man United come from nowhere and finish. But I would be embarrassed, man. It's your rivals. Like, you can't let them do that. You know, so yeah, and it's not even like Arsenal were at their best. Like, nah, I don't know. Gangster Crip, tomorrow the show is the question answer should be at 8 p.m. Flawless won't be there, I don't think, but it will be hosted by myself and AV8. So I'm not sure who else just yet. Maybe Manny. I'm not sure. But yeah, tune in tomorrow at 8. Kamasola says they won't win Europa League. Remember, UCL teams will drop in. The UCL teams will drop in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. If Real Madrid drop in, I can't see them not winning it. I think it'd be embarrassing for them to drop in and then not win it. I think Sevilla have qualified, haven't they? So they can't. It's their trophy. So they're not in it. So that gives them a good chance. But yeah, why not? Says Jan said they're a cup team and yet they can't win. Do you know what? Yeah, just historically, obviously now they haven't won anything. It's interesting actually because a lot of people, I love the League Cup. Like, I love it. And my reason for loving it is because you can win it early in the season. And quite a few times we've won that and it's pushed us on to win the league. So when we win that, I'm always happy. Obviously, this season, we didn't win anything else. But I do like that trophy. And it's interesting because you always get opposition fans that will like take the mick. Like, oh yeah, City, no one wants to win that cup anyway. And I'm just thinking, but it's a trophy. Like, it is a trophy. And, you know, it's interesting when Liverpool fans say it because they've actually won it the most. You know, so you've won it more than anyone else. So I don't know where the jokes are coming from. I think Arsenal are the team that haven't won it that many times. So if Arsenal fans say it, kind of get it because they go and win the FA Cup regularly. But yeah, Liverpool fans, Spurs fans, even Man United fans, they haven't won a trophy in a while. You shouldn't be taking the mick out of any trophy. So yeah, good show, ladies. Comasol says, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate it. And the comments as well. See you tomorrow, Gangster Crit. Why not says, that was actually laugh out loud. Funny, Jan. Good cup team. It's good to laugh. You know what? I'm just talking historically. I'm not talking about recently. You know, Spurs. My mum has never seen Spurs win the league, innit? So put it that way. And it's also interesting because they talk about us only existing in 2008, and you know, kind of not being anything before the money. But it's interesting because we'd already won the same amount of league titles as them. Do you know what I mean? We had 2, and they had. I think they've got 2. But yeah, they're not. They weren't better than us in terms of league titles. So yeah, I don't get that from them. They're called Spurs for a reason. They do Spursy things. I don't know. I don't know how you feel, Rose, but I think Jose brings something different, and they do look good. So I think they have to win a trophy. I think they do, even if it is the League Cup. I think they have to win one. What do you think?
If Spurs don't win a trophy with this team that they have, because in my opinion, this is probably the best team they've had a long time. If they don't win something this season, I don't know if they're ever going to win a trophy. I'm not even joking. With the manager they've got, is a winner. And then the team that they've got right now, I mean, if they can't win a trophy with this team and this manager, then I'm sorry, Spurs, you're not going to win it. You're not going to win it anytime soon.
Yeah. Do you know what's also interesting? People talk about Guardiola saying, you know, he leaves clubs after 3 years. Obviously, he's now been at City longer than he's ever been at any other club, which I love. But Jose's similar. Jose doesn't stay at clubs for years and years and years. So I don't know, like you say, if they don't win anything this season, 3rd season Jose is where the problems kick in, you know. So I don't know whether it will happen at Spurs. Spurs, I don't think the players are as kind of demanding as maybe the Man United players would have been and the Chelsea players, because they obviously expect to win, whereas the Spurs players, they don't seem like they have that demand. So maybe there won't be issues in the dressing room as much as he's had in his previous clubs. But yeah, I don't know. Even he might think, you know, they ain't gonna win anything. I'm gonna leave. You don't know. So we'll see what happens. I think he definitely has a winning mentality. I used to love Jose back in the day. I remember watching a program on him, and he was. They were all saying they love him so much, like he's a great guy. I think he's portrayed differently to that because he comes across as very moody. But in general, I don't know. I think he can do it. I think they definitely should win something this season. Whether they do it or not, we'll find out. But they should. But yeah, we're going to wrap up now. Gangster Crit says, great show, ladies. Good luck to City today. Can't believe I'm saying that. Thank you. Hopefully we can get a win. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're watching on Twitter, just jump over to YouTube, subscribe, like the video, and then you can go back. Everyone else that's tuned in, like the video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next weekend at the same time. Bye.